And then I'm going to mute because it might get a little noisy here. Okay, everyone. Well, I want to welcome all of you here with us, and it's like a fun night. It's month-end close, and it's been an incredible month for everybody, and we've all been excited to share the new products that we got at GTC. This is Heidi. She has little girls and kids your age too. She's my friend. See her waving. And this is one of my nieces that I get to spend some time with this summer, and I have 4 of them here with me tonight. And so you guys, I have Miss Heidi Kniss. She's an executive national vice president, and I will tell you, she looks beautiful. She is glamorous in every way. But what I love about this girl, and I hope I can say to stop crying, is that she is just the most down-to-earth, loving person with the biggest servant's heart that you will ever meet in your life. I will tell you, I have seen this girl give of herself to the point of sheer exhaustion. And she would just like collapse at retreats almost because she was so tired, because she just kept pouring and kept pouring and kept pouring out, because she knew that if she could just give people a little bit of love and attention and help them believe in them the way that she believes in each and every person that her life touches, that they would be able to believe in themselves more and take advantage of the gift of opportunity that we get with Arbonne. And I will tell you, that was the thing that I noticed the very first time I met her. And it wasn't, what she was doing in the business or anything. I could just see her heart shining through that beautiful face and those eyes that she has. She is Shelly Nelson's daughter. I should say that and give Shelly credit for who this young lady is. And so, I love her special because they're all family to me. But this girl stole my heart the minute I saw her, because you could just see her heart straight through her eyes. And if you've ever gotten to meet her in person, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm so excited for you guys to hear about this journey that Heidi has been on and the tips that she has to share with all of us. And I will tell you guys, what I love about her is that she is, like I said, down to earth. She was homeschooled by Shelly Nelson. And I mean, Shelly Nelson is the best teacher that anyone could have for their life. It doesn't matter that they weren't in, public schools and have formal educations. But I will tell you, it has not slowed this girl down from being successful in Arbonne, because she has all the right steps. So Heidi, I'm going to turn it over to you, honey, because I could spend the rest of the time talking about you and how much I love you. And you know that.
I do know that.
More than anybody else. So I'm going to turn it over and let you pour into these people, and I'm going to go make sure my stuff's not burning, but take you with me in the kitchen.
That sounds good. Sounds good. I love you. Carlita's my person. Everybody's got a person, and I'm not a crier, but sometimes we had this training with John O'Leary in Hawaii, and I think he repeated it, and he's like, draw a circle, right? The person who's influenced you. Carlita's name went in it both times. She's changed my life, and I think you guys have her at your beck and call. And so just know who you have in Carlita. So I told her one time, I'm like, if my life was falling apart, I'd come stay with you and you'd make it better. So anyways, I am so happy to share with you guys tonight. And, one of the things that I learned from Carlita actually is how to be a straight shooter, and that it actually is the most loving thing that you can do for people is just to speak the truth in love. And so I want to give you a disclaimer first, okay? 2 disclaimers is I only want to see you guys successful. And so everything that I say tonight will to help you move in that direction. I also am talking to you like you're wanting to be at the VP level, okay? So if I say something and you're like, well, that doesn't apply to me, well, maybe it doesn't, because maybe you're wanting to stay at district or area or consultant, and you're working this business more for the products and the discount and to share with friends and family. And you know what? That's the beauty of this business, is that we have that as an option. We're independent consultants and get to make the decision for ourselves. So I am tailoring this training to people who are like, no, I want to build a business. I definitely am working for that VP level, and I wish I could see all of your faces at once. I'm actually doing this from my phone, and I'd be like, give me a thumbs up if that's you. But I can only see a couple of you at once. So anyways, I've just called this training business building benchmarks, and just really kind of a lot of questions to ask yourself along the way. So I'll give you just a tinge of my story, and then give you, I guess, my top tips for building a business. So I started Arbonne 12 years ago in May. 12 years ago in May. So this month is my 12th anniversary. And I met Carlita that month. My mom bribed me she said, let's go to this Arbonne training. And I was like, no, not going to an Arbonne training. I'm signing up. Isn't that enough for you? And she's like, if you come, we'll stay in a hotel and I'll buy you an outfit at the J. Crew outlet. I'm like, okay, I'll go. So she bribed me to go to this training, and I've told this story and maybe you've heard it, but I met Carlita and I listened to her train, and I was just kind of like, ugh. And I had so much respect for her already. And she sat down next to me, and I was in the front row, and she put her hand on my knee, and she's like, you're going to be a national vice president, lady. You're going to. And then I think I worked it out where I sat next to her at dinner, and we shared a big old piece of chocolate cake together. And I was amazed at how much food this lady had on her plate. I'm like, wait a minute, she's like a size 2. And she eats like a grown man. But anyways, so I started my business 12 years ago, and I had small children. I lived in a tiny town. I was broke as a joke, like as in, cross your fingers, it's 2 weeks till payday. What can I get out of the cupboards to make food for my family? And we ate pancakes and oatmeal and tuna nuna, and we had to say no to going to friends' birthday parties, because that meant buying a gift, and there wasn't any extra money for that. It meant taking the calculator to the grocery store. It meant having this heart to give, but not having a bank account to match. And I didn't have any prospects of doing anything outside of what I was doing. I was cleaning houses and babysitting kids and taught tennis, and I'm a mediocre tennis player. I was a wedding coordinator and sang at weddings. I know every country western duet there is. And I am a shower singer at best, So it was like, wait a minute, I can make $25 at that? Yep, I can sing at your wedding. So I just was kind of a jack of all trades, and I really just wanted nothing to do with this business initially. I turned up my nose at it because I didn't see anybody successful, and honestly, it was just fear that held me back. But after I decided to start, I was still insanely skeptical, but so full of hope that there could be a change. And I heard people talk about create a vision board and a dream list. And I was like, whatever, pretty soon they're going to have us sit in a circle, lighting candles and singing Kumbaya. We don't talk about dreams in this family. That's new agey is how I was raised. And so, but you know what I did is I wrote a fear list. And that motivated the heck out of me. It was what my life was going to look like if I didn't change anything. And it was always be broke, have to say no to my kids for opportunities, never be on the giving side, always be on the receiving side. Look at Christmas, one of the happiest times of the year. Instead of excitement, look at it with dread, because that meant on a credit card. And so what I did is I made it a goal to cross things off my fear list. And as I crossed things off my fear list by doing Arbonne, like, okay, I can make my house payment. Wait a minute, I can pay all of my bills at once. And as I crossed things off my fear list, I could start to slowly see that, you know what, that dream could happen. And guys, say this to say, oh, look at me, look what I've done. But I want to just show you. So 10 months after I started working my business, insanely skeptical the whole time, but doing it anyways, I promoted to regional vice president. And I went to a VP retreat. I don't know if we had it in Oklahoma. I don't remember where we had it. I think we had it in Oklahoma, and it switched for me. And it was something that Carlita was talking about. She called us out on it. She's like, you know what? She said something like, I want to challenge you guys. And you always know, like, I don't know what she's going to say after she says she wants to challenge us. But she's like, I want to challenge you guys on how you keep talking about how this business is a vehicle for what you want. Why, or what you're passionate about. Why can't this be a part of what you're passionate about? Don't work it to get to a destination. This is always going to be a part of your story. And I was like, wait a minute. Everything I have done up until now has brought me to this point. And I keep seeing, like, I wish I had an hour to talk to you. I mean, like, I keep seeing how it just made sense. Everything I did, you know, supported me doing this and what I wanted for my life. And now it has become a huge passion. I love the products. Am I passionate about it? Passionate about them? I mean, I don't know. I love them. The new RE9 and the healthy living, like, I love them. I don't want to ever live without them, but I am passionate about this business and what it did for me and my babies and all the other women and men on my team. So anyways, then within 2 years and 3 months, promoted to the top of the company, and gosh, now just have a slew of lovely VPs in my organization that just are so much better than me and teach me more than I can teach them. So now my life is, I was like talking to Basamba today, and I was like, maybe we should take all of the kids on a cruise. How about 2 weeks from now? He's like, why not? Where that kind of thing would have been a year decision, of a 2-year decision. And for me, it was a 2-week decision. But it's going to the grocery store, seeing somebody that might need more than me and going to buy a Visa gift card and then sneaking around and being like, you know what? I just wanted to give this to you. And them not knowing how much is on the finding can actually play a part in what they're accomplishing in their organization. It's just so much. Anyways, that was my opener, and that was supposed to be 2 minutes, so I'm so sorry. Now I'm going to give you my tips and my training. Number 1, your activity is a reflection of your why. So you can tell me until you are blue in the face your 21 reasons why you want to do this business. You can even shed a tear, and the next thing I would ask you to do is open your calendar. And that shows me how important your whys are to you. And, you know, I remember hearing that and I was like, ooh, I don't know if I like that. But it is so true. It doesn't matter the month. It doesn't matter the season. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter if you think it's saturated enough or not. Your reflection of how important your whys are to you are opened up in the pages of your calendar with how much activity you have on it. So I know it's not always easy to fill your calendar, but I do know it's not impossible. I know that you will figure it out if you have to. And I think the thing is all of you already know how to figure it out. It's just learning to discipline your time, to manage your thoughts, to look at the reasons why you want to do this business more than the excuses. It's learning to be a little bit smart and a little bit business savvy and roll with the punches of the season. So, for example, we're in summer. So down in my family room, I still have a couple for a salsa and sangria party we had at my house. So every guest brings a different salsa, and we have salsa tasting, and I provided the sangria. We do a lemon and lavender party, and they soak their feet in lavender and like sliced up lemons. A deck party, fancy feet party, do you feel more flab than fab in your bathing suit party. So in the summer, people like a party, and so you have to be willing to give them a party, right? So just think on your toes and be willing to roll with the punches of the seasons that you have. if you're like, well, wait a minute though, Heidi, I would do a million parties if I could just book them. I want to just talk about for a second what holds you back from booking them. Do you not know enough people? Do you feel like you've asked everybody? Because all of that stuff is solvable in a matter, you have to be just a little bit patient. So I'm pretty sure all of you on this call have parties in the next week or two, right? So if you're looking at your June and you're like, well, shoot, how did this happen? I have 3 parties, but let's say your next one is Saturday. You are going to hostess coach the heck out of that lady. You are going to offer extra incentives for her to get new people, and you are going to work your fanny off to get 4 parties booked in June still. See, so often we think other people have control of our business. You have control over your business. You just have to be intentional and on purpose about whatever you do. And the other thing with your activity that I want to say is, a lot of times people come to me and they're like, Heidi, I'm just not where I want to be. What's wrong with me? I'm not the leader I need to be. And to that, the first thing I say is, well, let's just look at your calendar for a sec. And if they haven't executed 8 personal parties or presentations, or I'm just going to say parties because that's how I was taught by Miss Carlita. So actually, I think we used to call them classes. We used to wear, well, I don't know if anybody still wears the silver magnetic name badges. Praise Jesus. So we had our silver name badges. We wore to our parties. Actually, when I started, they told me to wear a suit jacket and no jeans to a party. But anyways, if you haven't executed 8 parties for 3 months in a row, your timeline hasn't even started. Because what happens is we get all excited and we do 8. And then we go down to 3 because we let the season get the better of us. And then we are like, shoot, I'm not going to let that happen. And you do 9, and then you go down to 2, and it's no way to grow a business. And so you have to fight to get your timeline going and hold 8. It's a solution to almost all of your issues. You lack belief, book more parties. You lack confidence, book more parties. You lack skills, book more parties. You don't know enough people, figure it out and book more parties. Anyways, the second thing is, are you working, and this is just what I want you to ask yourself, is, are you working this as a business or a hobby? And this is a tricky one. So see how you would respond to this. So are you strategic? So by the 15th of one month, do you make sure that the next month is full? Do you make sure that at least 6 out of your 8 parties are before the 15th? Because again, you let everything take control of your business instead of yourself unless you take control of the time. So if I was talking to a girl on my team and it was like the 16th, I'm like, girl, what's going on? I thought we were working for this big goal. And she was like, oh yeah, my activity is all after the 15th. And I said, can I just be honest with you for a second? What are you going to do if half of them cancel? You have to move them into June, and then you're screwed, and then you're going to be scrambling for outside orders, and who likes to do that every month? But if you fill the first half of your month, what happens if she needs to cancel or her kids are sick? Instead of being bitter at her for canceling, you can have compassion and be like, girl, I get it. Let's just move it to the 20th. That's still going to give you 2 weeks. So do yourself a favor and tomorrow work to book the first half of your calendar. Not all hope is lost for June. People give you what you ask for. So what I like to say to people is, I say, hey, well, first I really only give them an option to book within the next 2 weeks. But I say, you know what, honestly, especially with summer, the best thing is to have a party sooner than later. So what you're going to want to do is let's try to pick it in the next 5 days. And she's like, what? I'm like, no, for real. It's chips and salsa and maybe some lemonade, and text and call all your girlfriends right now. Tell them to save the date. You'll give them more details because they'll commit to come, and then nothing cooler comes up in the next 5 days. Where if you're booking it a month, they'll commit to you, but then somebody else asks them to do something more fun, and they're like, oh, sure, I told her I'd come 3 weeks ago. She probably forgot. So let them know it's in their best interest to book it sooner than later. Another thing is, are you willing to think on your toes? So, so I had a party last week, and I got 2 parties booked, but I really wanted to stay in this group of people. So I told the hostess, I went out to everybody in the sunroom, and I was like, oh, I forgot to tell you, I have this crazy special that I'm doing for Joy. If Joy books 4 parties, and we already have 2, if she books 4, I'm actually going to get her the whole RE9 set. And they were like, what? And Joy was like, what? You can book. And one lady was like, I'll book. And the catch is, like, some of you are like, how are you doing that? So I tell everybody right away, Joy gets the RE9 set after these 4 presentations are held. So Joy knows that. All of the guests know that. So I say, let's book in the next 3 weeks or 2 weeks so she can get it sooner. They also don't want to be the one to cancel, meaning she can't get her set. Let's say Susie has a party. I buy with my 35% the eye cream and the wash. And then Laura does her toner and the serum. You get it. So after each party, I'm 2 things. So at the end of the 4, I have everything. So let's say party number 4 is not calling me back. I call Joy and I'm like, I can't get a hold of Loretta. And she's like, let me call her. And then if she can't get a hold of her, she's like, can I get somebody else to do one? So by doing this, we're experiencing hardly any cancellations. We're not losing any money, and we're booking 4 parties off a party. So just a little extra tip. So are you thinking on your toes at parties? Also think on your toes when you're talking to people on your team. Recognize that every conversation, somebody's going to need something different. So meaning, I might be talking to a girl and she might not need to hear, you can do this, I believe in you. She might need to hear something a little bit more challenging, like, Brooklyn, I mean, ultimately you get to decide. And I feel like in the place that you're at right now, you're not going to be able to move forward with kind of how negative you are. I want to help you, but how can we work past that? Also be willing to pull from kind of your file cabinet of stories. Like, I use sidelines, upline, downline stories to be like, you know what? It actually reminds me of when Lisa, she booked 8 and 6 canceled. And really, it's all about what you decide to do when you're down. So people like to hear about other people failure and then success. I have a regional vice president on my team. Actually, she's a smidge away from qualification for nation this month. She calls me and she says, can you tell me about other people on your team and how bad they're doing? I'm like, why? And she said, it motivates me to hear that other people do bad and it's not just me. And I'm like, sure, I won't give you names, but I'll tell you some real bad stories. And she feels better. So figure out what people on your team need. The next thing is increase your capacity for more. And 2 things. One is just having a bigger vision, getting out of your own way and thinking that this business is about you. If you're faithful with your activity, you're going to hit your whys pretty quick. But here is what I think. I don't know. It has changed my life so much. I just have this sense of responsibility that I need to offer it to other people, and I surely need to help people on my team hit their goals because there were people above me that helped me. So I have this huge sense of responsibility that, wait a minute, I might not have met the person who needed me to start in the first place. I remember sitting at Crystal Foreman's car presentation. She's an NVP now, and was just overwhelmed with emotion thinking, I started so Crystal could do this business. And you'll have to look up her story and see why I thought that. But you started for you, but you really started for other people and for other people's kids. also, you can handle more, like increase your capacity to just handle more. Um, I think we live in this world that people think, um, that, I don't know, we need to have everything like so perfect, and things need to be balanced, and we need to volunteer for the right things, and we need to play Barbies with our kids, and we need to, everything needs to be so perfect. And so we're afraid to get too busy because what if it throws me out of balance? This is a new philosophy that I'm not going to say what. Is Oklahoma a conservative state? Okay. I better not say it. Some crazy college person came up with like this perfect idea of balance. Because somebody told me recently, Heidi, I really want to be like the Proverbs 31 lady. And I just feel like she helped her kids and she praised her husband and she got their food. And I said, are you kidding me? The Proverbs 31 woman was a hustler and she was way busier than you are ever going to be. She made her fields, she sold them, she made clothes, she got their food ready for winter. When do you think she had time to do a cross stitch? When do you think she had time to do a tennis club? Like, she was industrious. And can you imagine the skills that it taught her children? Um, Back in the farming days, you weren't sitting down always doing puzzles. You were saying, come milk the cows with me and let's visit. Like, um, gather your children instead of having this unwarranted mom guilt. Gather the children and people in your life and engage them in this business with you. My kids, they feel like they do Arbonne just as much as me. And it's their business. It's our family business. And they see me busy. They see me work, but they don't ever feel like I'm neglecting them or they're suffering. So you can handle more. You can book more parties and you can talk to more people. Just don't do the bare minimum. And then lastly, another tip is just bounce back quicker, because what's the other alternative? I think it's really easy to get frustrated when obstacles come. Also, I think you should redefine what an obstacle is. A party canceling. You know what that is? Part of the business. A business builder quitting. You know what else that is? Part of the business. A party with no sales? Normal. All of this stuff, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's not because it's not meant to be and it's a sign that God's closing doors. It's normal and it's business. And you need to just be willing to bounce back quicker, because what happens, I don't know if you've heard this song, actually has nothing to do with Arbonne, but these lyrics could. It says, it's a slow fade when you give yourself away, when black and white turns to gray. So nobody ever just quits when they're doing amazing and in full activity, but it's a slow fade. What happens is they let themselves think a little bit more about quitting and how it might not be for them. And then they talk to a friend about it. And then they're like, okay, but no, I'll stick with it. And then like they entertain the thought again. And then all of a sudden it just takes that one thing to put them over the edge and they quit. And so if your whys are important to you, don't buy into the excuses and don't entertain the thought. Just be willing to bounce back quicker. How did I bounce back quicker? Um, you know what? I had 4 kids staring me in the eyes every day that needed this opportunity. I had a not so fun life circumstance happen where I was it. I was it for them. And I couldn't say, this was not so comfortable for me anymore. It didn't feel right. I had to push past all of that and just do it. Just do it. Um, and then lastly, kind of with bounce back, is speak truth to yourself. I think it's so easy to compare, especially with social media. Social media is Satan's website, I think. It's so easy to look at people instead of celebrate their excitement, like start to compare your inadequacies. And the truth is we're all so inadequate. In this business, we talk a lot about bravery and courage and confidence and pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and become a better leader. And these are all things that we need to do. However, if I can just be super transparent with you, because I was talking to one of my MVPs about it, it's not something I have ever talked about. But the truth is, executive, national vice president, I think there's 15 of us NVPs and 2 more in qualification for nation. And we had our biggest month last month and did like $3.7 million in volume. I mean, 12 years ago, I did 2,800. Insane, right? I have days where I'm like, I am not a good leader. Like, I mean, what am I doing wrong? Or like, look at her and how good she is and the relationships. And then I start to remind myself of this song my sister Katie and I used to sing. We used to share a room together. And I'm not going to sing it for you, but I will tell you the words. Because sometimes it's not just about pulling yourself up by yourself or gathering all this self-esteem and confidence. It's really, where do you find your strength? And I don't want to get too preachy at you because I know everybody has different faiths, but I figure it's Oklahoma and most people share my faith. And but um but I'll just tell you what I remind myself of these words. It's an old Stephen Curtis Chapman song, and the words say, if the truth were known and my life was shown, and a light was shown on every hidden part of my soul, most would turn away, shake their heads and say, she still has such a long way to go. If the truth were known, they would see that the only good in me, and then it goes on to talk about, the only good in me is God in me. And it says, and oh, the goodness and the grace in me. He takes it all and makes it mine and causes his light in me to shine. And I don't know why I'm so cry today. I don't, but it says, he loves me with a love that never ends, just as I am, not as I do. Could this be real? Could this be true? This can only be a miracle of mercy. And so when you look at other people and you think that they have it all together or they act like they have it all figured out, just know that they're probably hanging on to the miracle of mercy for that day. And they're just trying to be faithful in the moment and doing their best. And so if you can just work on doing your best, being faithful in your moment and surrounding yourself with your truth and people that support you, you're going to be good to go. So that is all that I have for you. I don't know, Carlita, is there anything else you wanted me to cover?
You know what, honey? I don't know that there is anything else to cover because what you shared were the basics of what you've done and what every other successful person I know in our organization has ever done. And I mean, people are just loving. I wish you could see the comments, and I can copy and paste them and let you see if you can't see them on your iPhone, honey. But just truth that you guys, this business is not as hard as we make it to be. I mean, I love how you talked about how, the calendar, we think it's, impossible. We tell ourselves it's impossible, and it's not. It's just a matter of continuing on and pushing on and making it that priority and being okay that life, it doesn't look perfect while you do it. Because I agree with you completely. Social media, I mean, I'm on it some, and I was on it because people told me I have to get on it. But just like today, I was like trying to find you on social media. I'm so bad at it. And I'm like, oh, wait, I found you. Forget it. Because I just don't live there. But so many people live there, and that's what they're comparing themselves to instead of just accepting the truth that they are that child of a king. And he accepts us just like we are today. But that we also have a purpose on this world, in this earth, and it's to make a difference for others. And that's what I love about your heart. And what I knew and saw the day I met you is that you cared about others more than you cared about yourself, Heidi. And that is, and I'm really grateful, you guys, because what Heidi has learned is how to care for herself more along on her journey. And it is okay to care for yourself, but we also are here for a purpose and to help other people. care
Yeah.
for themselves and to care for them until they learn how to care for themselves. And that's what we're here to do, you guys. I mean, we call it Arbonne, we call it parties, we call it skincare, nutrition, makeup. We have fun with all of that, but what we're really doing is we're just loving on people and helping them realize that there is a different way outside of what the world's definition of success is, and you can make your own definition and you can work for it, and this vehicle will help you do whatever that is for you, but you have to do your part. And that's the part where it is so frustrating as leaders to see people that don't, that just let this go and fall through their fingertips at the first cancellations, or the first person that quits their business or whatever. And today more than ever, I think you just have to commit and decide, I'm going to be the last one standing. And because I am, I will hit my goals for my family and help other people hit their goals and meet those people that were waiting on me to stay until they were able to find this business and let it be what they needed to be for their families. So I'm passionate about all of it. I love that you talked about the business. Yes, I'm more passionate about the business than anything. But the other day I was in the bathroom getting ready and I was thinking, what would I miss if Arbonne just went away? And instantly I thought of the people, and I thought, no way, I would still see those people with or without Arbonne. Those people would always be a part of my life. But I thought, I would die without these products. I'm like, I don't know how I would live without these products. And so I do love these products. And I just hope that everybody, loves that enough. And that's where we start. So many of us, you guys, we start with the product because that's how big our belief is. But you got to love the product enough that you want to go give it to somebody else so that they can live the way you get to live with these products, and then eventually fall in love with the rest of it. But I love, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when I started, I wasn't passionate about either. I wasn't passionate about the products. I wasn't passionate about the business. But I was two things. I was a hard worker and I had integrity, and I committed to follow the system and give it my best for a year, is what I said. And I didn't want to not follow the system because I felt like if I didn't follow the system, I was cheating my children. Work out our kinks. And so if you haven't, beat yourself up, but start following it tomorrow. So I was a hard worker. And I always thought, so it talks about being a good steward, right? And I think a lot of people with money, but that's with your energy that God has given you. That's with your resources. That's with your opportunity. That's with your everything that you've been given. You have to be a good steward of that. And I felt like I was given this chance, this possibility. Time was a possibility because I don't know another possibility like this.
Right.
No matter what you feel, do it because you can do it. And we have that privilege of being able to do this. So quick, I was in Thailand and I went over early for an NVP challenge trip. And my sister and I, we worked with an organization that rescued women out of prostitution. And we came across this one lady who she was asking us why we were there. And I told her about Arbonne, and with tears in her eyes and grabbing my hands, she asked if there was any way she could do that where she was. And I had to say, unfortunately, we're not in Thailand yet. To help you if we were. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, I complain and think booking a party is hard. Talk to somebody about this business when she was begging me for an opportunity equal to this.
Yeah. It's just like Memorial Weekend. I was like, how many people have paid the price of their life to give us the freedom that we get to have to live the way we get to live? And yet, what are we doing with it? Like, we have been given the freedom and the gift of this Arbonne to live and give more. And are we doing it? Are we being as grateful for this gift of Arbonne and the gift of our freedom? Because we live in America and we're not those people in Thailand. and other countries that are not as fortunate as America? And are we being faithful with it? Are we being those good stewards with it? So, you guys, that's what it really does boil down to. And this is heavy. It's big stuff, because when you think of it in this way, that's when you fight for it harder. You work for it harder when you get to this point in your life and in your heart and in your head with this business. And if this is a lot for you, it's okay, because you may not be here. But what I want you to know is the quicker you get to this point in your head and your heart, that it is bigger than just a lipstick business, that's whenever you will give it all you've got, because you get the magnitude of what it is you're here doing, not just for yourself and your family, but for the people that are waiting for you to ask them to hear about our book. So thank you, honey. I could talk all day long with you about this, because we are the same people in this. And I just thank you so much, you guys. This lady, like I said, she serves, she gives, she does not waste a second of any part of her day, any day. And I just thank you for taking the time, the precious time away from your beautiful family, and giving to all of us, because everyone is just like raving about this call, and that you are their favorite, and that they love learning from you, and allowing you to pour into them. So thank you for sharing your heart.
I'm happy to do it.
I know. And good luck on your month end close, and go help your team finish strong. And we will do the same over here. I love you. Thank you, babe.
Love you too. Bye, guys. Bye, Tammy. Bye, Lindsay.